Okay.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Daily Herald here on Badlands Media. I am your host, Jon Herold, and I hope you all had a great weekend. I'm finally back home from my travels. I was down in Florida, and man, we had a great turnout at that Badlanders Florida Badlanders meetup. Holy cow, this could be a rough episode, guys. Look at that. This is like a mini GART. There's well over 100 people here. We didn't even get everybody that was there in the picture, but it was awesome. There's this thread on Twitter. If you guys go check it out, there's people posting other pictures in the chat. It was a great time. Had a lot of fun. Thank you to Vita down there in Lakeland for putting that together for us. It was just awesome. Why is this promote thing always up there? Drives me nuts. Yeah, guys, plenty to talk about. I'm going to kind of rant a little bit about the big, beautiful bill. It's probably going to be some commentary not everybody's going to agree with, but I think it needs to be said. But before we get into any of that, let's get a quick word from our sponsors. First up, we got Rise Attire.
Howdy, Badlanders. Looking for something new to grab from your friends at Badlands Media and Rise Attire? Summertime is here. We got you covered. All new tank tops for men and women, featuring new iterations of the Devolution design in black, red, white, and even blue and green digital camo. Sick. We got them for Psywar and Clown World too. How about these bad boys? Psywar, Clown World, and Devolution beach towels to help you spark up a conversation with your new best friend or future spouse at the pool. And by popular demand, we've got all new athletic women's leggings that'll have you red-pilling all the ladies in your Pilates class, whether they like it or not. Too bad. This is Badlands, baby, and we're strapped. Get some and support the new media parallel economy as much as fucking possible at badlandsmedia.tv/rise.
Awesome. Get your Rise Attire gear, guys. I see people in the chat. Jackie is going over to Y Chromes. I know Y Chromes is live on Mondays at the same time I am. I will send you guys all over there as soon as the stream is done. There's lots of other stuff going on. There's a press briefing, I think, from the State Department. I think is it a White House press briefing as well today? And then Trump is supposed to be issuing some executive orders. We'll see what happens. We can't find official confirmation that it's happening today, but I think it's the it's not, is it the AI ones? I don't remember. We do have one more sponsor real quick, and it's actually Badlands. It's GART. If you thought the Lakelands meetup was great, you'd love GART. Check it out.
Coming August 14th to 17th, Badlands Media returns to Deadwood, South Dakota for the 9th stop of the Great American Restoration Tour. Come for family, friends, fun, and a fucking good time. Hear truth bombs that hit harder than B2s on an Iran nuke site from Burning Bright, Chris Paul, CanCon, Red Pill 78, Brad Nabby, Ash, Ghost, Jordan Sather, Jon Herold, whoever that is, and more. Plus, Alpha might make you a sandwich. Deadwood is a gorgeous town in the middle of the Black Hills of South Dakota. If you've never been, you need to see it. Plus, you might be lucky enough to witness some terrible karaoke from your favorite Badlanders. Go to badlandsmedia.tv/events for weekend or one-day tickets. And if you can't make it in person, virtual tickets are available too. Watch from the comfort of your couch with tons of behind-the-scenes content and get access to an exclusive GART chat. That's badlandsmedia.tv/events. Be there or be there online. It'll be recorded.
Thank you for Jordan putting that together. That was pretty good. Okay, let's start with this. We have no update on the, or actually we do have an update on the Doge website. I lied. They have found an additional $10 billion in savings. It's just updated yesterday. So that's exciting stuff, guys. Woohoo. $10 billion more dollars. We are well on our way to the $2 trillion of waste, fraud, and abuse that exists out there. No updates on the presidential website. Last thing up there is from June 23rd, that letter to the Speaker of the House and the President pro tempore on Trump bombing Iran. And now this, the big news going on, I would say the last, 48, 72 hours really has been the big beautiful bill. So they had their vote on, I think it was either Friday or Saturday, the vote to like move it forward. Essentially, the vote to now we're going to do the part where we're actually going to vote on it. And then Chuck Schumer was like, okay, we're going to read this entire bill out loud on the House floor or on the Senate floor. And so that's what they did. The people, the staff there spent like 20 some hours reading the entire 900 plus page bill, almost 1,000-page bill. The Senate version is under 1,000. The House version was over 1,000. Done reading it, and now they're at the stage where it's called the Vote-A-Rama, which is interesting. I'll read about that here in a minute. I'll give you the details of what's next and who we're looking at to see if it passes or not. But yesterday I posted this. No matter how many good things there are in the big, beautiful bill, I have a hard time getting excited about something that increases our debt limit by $5 trillion. I just need to make sure my audio and everything is on the right setting. Okay. So that's what I posted. And I was kind of surprised by the feedback I got. And so I'm going to go on a minor rant here. Again, it's probably not going to be something you guys agree with, which is totally fine. We're all adults. We should be able to say things that people don't agree with and speak your opinions without being belittled or whatever. But it was so interesting to me. Okay, so first of all, I want to say I understand what a debt limit is. It's just credit, right? You don't have to use it. That was one of the responses I continually got on just this post. And so that like made me think and ponder, and I have two questions about that. So first, when in the entire history of our government running a deficit and having a debt and needing to raise our debt limit, have they not like exceeded that and needed to raise it again? Like, have they ever not had to raise the debt limit? They continually do it, right? When does that ever happen? It hasn't. Okay, but if this time is different, which that's kind of like the second rebuttal, well, this time's different. Okay, well, if it's different and they don't plan on using it, why are we including it in the bill? Right? Seems weird. I know this bill has a lot of various spending cuts. I get it. I agree there are good things in the bill. But like just based on the principle of increasing our debt limit when we already have $38 trillion in debt, I'm like 100% not in favor of that. And that's just like the first thing. The next rebuttal that I keep seeing is, well, Trump is going to default on purpose and destroy the Fed, and he needs to raise our debt limit as much as possible. And that's something I fully on board with that. I think that's been kind of the low-key plan the whole time. But if we're being totally honest, it's just speculation on our part. Trump has not once said that's what he's going to do. That's total speculation. Nobody can say with any level of certainty that that is actually going to happen, and that is what Trump is planning to do. We've been speculating the outcome for like 4+ years. And again, like while I personally believe that is Trump's end goal, that's not like the battle space, the narrative battle space that Trump is actually operating in. He's telling us the opposite. He's telling us we need to implement this bill, implement all the, the spending cuts, raise the debt limit somehow. But then at the end of it, we're going to have we're going to fix the deficit and start paying off our debt. I mean, Trump has literally told us in the same sentence, I'm going to play the clip right now, that you're going to default and then but you don't have to default. Like, so which is it? Like, it's confusing. And we know he's running psyops, and I'll get to that. Let me play the clip first.
You want
By the way, this was from May of 2023. I think May or March. Yeah, May of 2023.
that using the debt ceiling as a negotiating wedge just could not happen. You said that when you were in the Oval Office. So why is it different now that you're out of office?
Because now I'm not president.
The U.S. defaulting would be massively consequential for everyone in this room, for all of
you. You don't know. It's psychological. It's really psychological more than anything else. And it could be very bad. It could be maybe nothing. Maybe you have a bad week or a bad day. But look, you have to cut your costs. We're spending $7 trillion on, much of it on nonsense. $7 trillion on nonsense.
We've got
And I
another
actually
question from a
said,
voter tonight.
get all of that money that was wasted, and frankly, the Senate should have never approved it. Get all that money that was wasted, and if they don't get rid of that, you'll have to default. Okay?
Mr. President, we've got another voter here tonight.
And by the way, you're going to default eventually anyway, but it's going to be much messier. I don't think you'll have to default. I think if the Republicans hold...
Like, that was it right there. I'm going to just rewind a little bit. You're going to have to default eventually. I don't think you're going to have to default. So if we're just going on things Trump says, which one of those is it?
Okay?
Mr. President, we've got another voter here tonight.
And by the way, you're going to default eventually anyway, but it's going to be much messier. I don't think you'll have to default. I think if the Republicans hold strong and they say we want let's say we want $5 trillion off, I really think the Democrats have no choice but to do it. People.
It's interesting. I'm going to go back at some point and listen to that whole interview and that whole section about the defaulting, because there might be more signal in there than I even realized. But so back to this post. This is the post that got me thinking on this train of thought, and brings me to the final comment I see most often from people. And this is almost people turning off their critical thinking, which is what I don't think is ever a good idea. And it's, well, I trust Trump, and so I'm okay with this. Okay, guys, I too trust Trump. I've said repeatedly on the show, and on every show I do, he's like the only person that I give the benefit of the doubt to. But for all we know, he wants us to question this. Trump is the only one that we know that is operating on like a level above everybody else. He has more information than anybody else in the world. Nobody can actually claim to know why Trump does anything he does and call it anything more than speculation. That includes myself. Like, we speculate why Trump is doing things, but that's all it is speculation. Nobody knows with any level of certainty what his plan is. And like when Trump was pushing the vaccines, did you guys just trust Trump and take it? Because I didn't do that. And I know a majority of the people in this audience didn't do it. But then why is this any different? Like, why are we supposed to suddenly be in favor of a 1,000-page bill that raises our debt limit by $5 trillion when the debt is part of like why we're in this enslaved debt system? You know what I mean? Like, why was it okay to question Trump then and not do what he said and not be in favor of what he said, the vaccines? But now we have to do that. Completely, like, that's hypocritical, if you ask me. I understand wanting to codify Trump's agenda. We talk about that all the time. Like, the border stuff in there is good. The no tax on tips is good. There's a lot of good things in there, but there's some not great things in there too. And the good stuff that codifies his agenda, why can't we do that in individual bills? Line item voting, like we've been talking about for the past couple of years, is the only way to codify his agenda in a 1,000-page bill. And if that's the case, why is that the case? Why can't we do it in the line items? Is it because the Senate we don't have a big enough majority in the Senate? And if that's the reason, then why haven't we fixed our elections yet? I mean, you can go on and on and on. And so, like, my ultimate point here is I'm just not going to support something, which in this case is the 1,000-page bill that adds the $5 trillion to the debt limit, that goes against my values and principles, just because I'm supposed to trust Trump when I know that Trump is constantly engaging in psyops. And the vaccine is the perfect example of that. And I'm not going to tell you what you guys should or shouldn't support. That's fine. But we should all be allowed to like ask these questions and have an actual conversation about whether or not a 1,000+ page bill adding $5 trillion to the debt limit is a good thing, without like being called out for not trusting Trump enough. That's silly. Trusting the public narratives from somebody you know is engaging in irregular warfare all the time is kind of silly. Like, I have faith and trust that Trump is going to get this resolved at the end of it. And that like whatever happens here, it's going to happen by force. Like, we don't have actual say in the matter because our elections are fake. And at the end of the day, it's probably going to play out where Trump is right by passing this. Like, however this does play out, I'm assuming it's exactly how Trump wanted, or at least it's going to work out in a way that he's going to be able to work with it. And if we get enough of the tariffs and we do get enough reduction in spending and do continue to hopefully start exposing more waste, fraud, and abuse, like maybe the stuff in this bill will at the end of the day we'll start paying down the debt. Maybe that'll be a good thing. I'm just saying that since we don't always know what are psyops and what aren't, we don't have inside access to the plan, it's all speculation. The only place that we can really operate from is one grounded in truth and supported by your principles. And my principles are telling me that adding $5 trillion to the debt limit through a 1,000-page bill is not good. It's not something I'm in favor in. So that's where I'm at. That's why I posted that. I'm not going to change from that. So suck it. But this is where we're at with the actual bill, the vote-a-rama. Senators are offering amendments to Trump's mega bill. Here's how we got here and what comes next. This morning, senators kicked off a marathon voting process known as a vote-a-rama, which means any senator can offer any amendment to the president's sweeping agenda for as many hours as he or she wants. So I'm just going to check the chat. Oh yeah, another thing I see about it all the time, like the debt is fraud. He's going to blow up the Fed and everything. If you actually go and look, like we talk a lot about what are the ramifications of imploding the Fed and the debt and just like not paying back that stuff. Our debt is people who like own U.S. treasuries. There are foreign countries, but foreign countries account for like, there was a chart from, let me see if I can find this chart. I had it up yesterday, but that was on my phone. I wonder, I can access old Grok stuff, right? Yeah, here we go. Here, this is a good one. So again, 2023, this is when our debt was 34.4 trillion. It's almost 38 trillion now. But foreign countries own 15%. That's pretty small. The Federal Reserve itself, 15%. But then banks, deposit institutions, 5%. But then mutual funds, that's like retirement accounts of people. Pension funds, 3%. That's going to hurt citizens. State and local governments. How many local municipalities will be affected by that? Intergovernmental debt. That's depending on the agencies, I don't really care about that. They're the largest holder. But then U.S. holders of savings, us defaulting, while Trump does say it's primarily psychological, there will be actual ramifications for people. And I don't know if Trump wants to go down that route. We don't know. We speculated, but we don't know for sure. He may just want to actually start paying down the debt. And maybe he'll like forgive away some of it from foreign countries and certain things that were engaged in fraud or waste or abuse. And yes, I know that the fiat system itself is fake. We got to get to something else. I do think that's the end game. But if that's the end game, why are we continuing to raise the debt? Why can't we just default now in August? Because that's what happens if this bill doesn't pass. We default in August, which I want. Let's just do it. We don't need to get any more debt. We're ready. We don't need to do it for the normies anymore. Stronger Now says you can't just bankrupt the Fed or in the bed, suddenly it'll make hyperinflation. Yeah. Like it's going to be probably a slower transition, but if I don't know, I'm just, because we don't know what the plan is, it's all speculation. We got to operate on the public narrative Trump is operating in, and I disagree with him on this, just like I disagreed with him on the vaccines. Anyway, back to this one. The amendment process is expected to take hours. And considering that each senator can make an amendment and take as many hours as they need, like some of these Democrats, you could essentially filibuster this by just going in and constantly offering amendments. But once concluded, the Senate will move to a final passage vote on the bill. Republicans will look to pass the bill with a simple majority threshold or without Democratic votes. The bill would then move to the House, which would have to pass it without changes in order to send it directly to the president's desk for his signature. We got past the parliamentarian, Elizabeth McDonough, who was striking key things out of the bill. But then here, this is who we're looking for in terms of key votes from Republicans in the Senate. So all we need to get to is 51, and we have a 53-47 majority, so we can only lose a few. Over the weekend, a warning shot came from Senator Tom Tillis of North Carolina, who was one of the two senators to oppose advancing Trump's bill in a key vote Saturday night, along with Kentucky Senator Rand Paul. Tillis, who was concerned over cuts to Medicaid, announced the following day that he would not seek re-election. In a fiery floor speech, he said he would withhold his vote until it's demonstrated to me that we've done our homework. So to me, writing on the wall with Tillis, this is the guy who stonewalled Ed Martin's nomination process. So F this guy. he would have been primaried anyway, and I don't even know what it means to be primaried in a fake election system, whatever. But he's announcing his retirement, essentially. I think he's going to vote no on this regardless. Rand Paul, who knows? Already outspoken fiscal hawk Paul said Sunday he's planning to vote against the bill. Well, there you go. He's voting against it. The bill increases the debt ceiling by $5 trillion. The Kentucky senator said, what does that mean? That is a mission that they know they aren't controlling the deficit. That doesn't sound conservative to me. That's why I'm a no. And you know what, guys? I kind of agree with that principle of thinking. I do. Tillis is not the only Republican who opposes proposed cuts to Medicaid. Senators Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins have raised concerns, with Collins saying if the bill is not further changed, I would be leaning against the bill. These two have not come through for us in the past, have they? I would not be surprised if both of them vote no. Josh Hawley, who was vocally concerned, did vote and said he would back the bill. So it's going to be interesting, guys. I don't know. It would be kind of nuts if they don't pass the bill. Like, what happens next? It'll be absolute meltdown. But if they do pass the bill, then it goes back to the House, and they have to vote on the Senate's version. But if they make changes, then it has to come back to the Senate. Like, it's kind of a little ping pong. But we're getting close to the deadline of July 4th too, which that's an interesting deadline to me because I think we have until August until we default. And so I wonder if Trump gave the deadline because he knows this initial time it's not gonna go through. Gives more time to get something else. Yeah, Julie Jan says this is a good point, and I'll get to the rest of the rants here in a little bit. But I agree we can disagree, but it doesn't matter because we, the little people, can't do anything about it. So basically, it's trust the plan, whatever way it goes, because we can't do shit. Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with that principle, but you still advocate for the things you believe in, because I think Trump and them, they are monitoring, not like Badlands directly, but like the feelings of the movement. You know what I mean? And, you know, me and Chris have talked about this a lot. Like, maybe the reason we haven't moved on to the next phase of the plan yet is because not enough people are advocating for change and wanting us to do the change. Like, they need the mandate to do stuff. And if everybody's just like blindly following like sheep and, you know, yes, do it, I'm in favor of the bill because Trump said so. I don't think that's a good position for the movement to be in. One of the greatest gifts Trump has given us over these last years is to question everybody. Like, he taught us how to question things, and that it's okay to question things, including him. The vaccine, again, great example. So let's start doing it. That's all I'm asking. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe by tonight we'll have a vote on this bill. I don't know. But let's keep going. Another big news story from just yesterday. There was a fire that was started in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. And when the firefighters responded, this guy started like sniping firefighters. I think there was 2 firefighters that were fatally shot. A third was out of surgery and stable. I think there's a total of 11 injured. But they believe to have gotten the suspect. The suspect is believed to be the only shooter in the deadly ambush on Sunday. The blaze has scorched about 26 acres so far with no structures damaged. They still got to put out the fire, I believe. But the suspect is 20-year-old Wes Rowley. So it's very unfortunate that, you know, praying for the families of those who were killed. Stuff like this is crazy. Some sick people out there. All right, let's go through some other headlines. These are from Badlands Media's website. Judicial Watch sues Justice Department over Biden-era FISA surveillance at Trump. Judicial Watch has filed a Freedom of Information Act lawsuit against the U.S. Department of Justice, seeking all records related to Biden-era FISA subpoenas, warrants, court orders, and other authorizations used to surveil Trump. I'm curious. I don't remember, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but has there been disclosure or stories of this happening to Trump while Biden was in office? Because I mean, I know it happened when Obama was there, But I'm trying to think back, and I don't recall like there being like, oh, breaking, Biden DOJ has been caught, surveilling Trump. Like, it's not surprising that they were doing it. I would expect them to have been, but I don't remember any like breaking news stories about this happening. So, oh, did I pronounce it wrong? Coeur d'Alene. Yeah. My bad, guys. But I don't remember any stories like this. And so I expect these, if this happens and when we get the FOIA released, I would totally expect there to be like many instances of them using FISA against Trump. Big story. Just concerned. I remember hearing about surveillance. Yeah, I just remember it from the first term. So I think this could be pretty big, especially when it comes to the lawsuits, the special. I mean, think of Jack Smith. If Jack Smith was getting fed, FISA stuff they got from FISA warrants that he wasn't including in the lawsuits or something. I mean, this could be pretty damn interesting. Israel has signaled interest in ties with Syria and Lebanon, but rules out Golan Heights concessions. So this, I believe, has to do with the Abraham Accords. Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar said Monday that Israel is open to establishing diplomatic relations with Syria and Lebanon, but made clear that the status of Golan Heights is non-negotiable. Speaking at a press conference in Jerusalem, Sa'ar framed the potential outreach as part of Israel's broader push for regional normalization following the recent 12-day war, which Israeli leaders say has weakened Iran's influence. We have interest in adding countries such as Syria and Lebanon, our neighbors, to the circle of peace and normalization while safeguarding Israel's essential security interests. The Golan will remain part of the state of Israel. Israel annexed the Golan Heights in 1981. The Abraham Accord stuff, we had an announcement last week from Witkoff that said, in the near future, we're going to see some countries added. I speculated at the time, or questioned at the time, like, is it going to be Iran? I think long term, that's eventually they're going to be part of that. Don't know time frame on that, but it sounds like based on this, that these are the two countries that will be next in. But we'll see. Expect some sort of announcement in the coming weeks, like Witkoff said. Brazil's Supreme Court approves social media liability ruling. Supreme Court in Brazil has finalized the details of a landmark decision making social media platforms legally responsible for user content that violates certain laws, clearing the way for the ruling to take effect in the coming weeks. So imagine the bans that are going to take place on social media companies if this goes through. I mean, I'm sure Elon Musk is going to like fight this or whatever, but anyway, the decision allows victims to sue platforms for hosting illegal content if the companies fail to remove it after being notified. The court left the definition of illegal content open to be determined on a case-by-case basis, but confirmed that companies will not be held liable if they can prove they acted swiftly to remove offending material. It strengthens an existing law that previously required companies to take action only after receiving court orders. The rules were often ignored. The decision stems from two cases accepted last year. Although the majority of justices approved the shift 2 weeks ago, it took until last Thursday for the court to agree on implementation procedures. The case has strained Brazil's relationship with the United States, with Secretary of State Marco Rubio warning of potential visa restrictions on foreign officials involved in censoring American citizens. Critics say the new policy could encourage platforms to preemptively take down content to avoid legal risks, raising concerns about free speech. I still don't think we have free speech here. This is kind of nuts. Dystopia. This is what we'd be up against if Trump hadn't won. Hadn't legitimately won in 2020. And then again in 2024. Justice Department fires 3 prosecutors who worked on January 6 cases. I think we need to fire everybody who worked on January 6 cases. I still don't think we've gotten disclosure of, wasn't it Bongino who said, or Cash, who said that we were going to get disclosure of FBI individuals involved in the protests? That was like 3 months ago, maybe more even. Have we got that yet? I don't think we have. So where is that? But yeah, this is good. They're firing people that shouldn't be there. House oversight targets Karine Jean-Pierre, former top Biden staffer. Staffers offer cover-up of mental decline. House oversight Chairman James Comer is demanding testimony from former White House press secretary Karine Jean-Pierre and 3 other senior Biden officials as part of an investigation into the cover-up of Joe Biden's mental decline and questions over who was making key executive decisions. I'm very excited to read this report from the Oversight Committee whenever it comes out. It'll be so fun. Maybe we'll do a breakdown here on Badlands when it happens. But they're also looking to get former White House Chief of Staff Jeff Zients, former Deputy Press Secretary Andrew Bates, and former Special Assistant Ian Sams. The letters ask the officials to appear for transcribed interviews in late August and early September. Still waiting on Dr. Kevin O'Connor and former Senior Advisor Anthony Bernal after they declined to appear voluntarily. What else you guys say in the chat? It's too late to ask John to start over, so I'm going to the beginning and watch from there. Have fun, y'all. Yeah, a little too late. But thanks for tuning in. Hit that thumbs up. Appreciate that. One more story from the Badlands Media website is this. New DOJ documents detail probe into Burisma lawyer while Hunter Biden avoided same scrutiny. Newly obtained Justice Department records shed light on the behind-the-scenes investigation that forced prominent attorney John Beretta and his law firm to retroactively register as foreign agents for their work with Ukrainian energy company Burisma. While Beretta's foreign registration becomes public in early 2024, the DOJ's internal deliberations leading up to that decision, including findings dating back to 2022, were not revealed until now through a FOIA request. The documents provide the first detailed look at how the DOJ determined Beretta's Burisma lobbying triggered FARA requirements, while raising new questions about why similar enforcement actions were not pursued against Hunter Biden. Makes you wonder. Eileen Mashoud, FBI just released a warning to airlines of cyber attack. I did not see that. Let me check that out here. Hold on. FBI airlines. This is all I see, and this is from a few days ago. And I had flown on a plane since then and did not experience any cyber attacks on the planes while I was in the air. But yeah, the FBI has recently observed the cyber criminal group Scattered Spider expanding its targeting to include the airline sector. These actors rely on social engineering techniques, often impersonating employees or contractors to deceive IT help desks into granting access. Yeah. Stay tuned. Yeah, there was massive flight delays. American Airlines had some issues. I think it was Friday or Saturday. I flew United, or Delta's probably my favorite now. Just they always have the little screen in the back of the seats. The other ones are hit or miss. American Airlines going through Dallas sucks. There is no such thing as a good airport, though, by the way. We had that discussion this weekend. Let's keep going here. We got Oracle stock is jumping. I like pointing out Oracle because it's tied to the Devolution series, but it's jumped after $30 billion annual cloud deal revealed in a filing. They had a filing, their annual filing showing that they had a huge cloud deal. I'm trying to see who it was with. The deal company meeting Monday. According to filing with the SEC, the revenues are expected to start hitting in the 2028 fiscal year. They're off to a strong 2026. Their multi-cloud database revenue continues to grow at over 100%, and they signed multiple large cloud services agreements, including one that is expected to contribute more than $30 billion in annual revenue starting in fiscal year 2028. I wonder if this has to do with, let me find it. Where is it? Oh yeah, this story. I wonder if it has to do with this story. Trump says he has a group of very wealthy people ready to buy TikTok. Trump said he had found TikTok buyers, but the deal likely needs Beijing's approval. He was in a Fox News interview with Maria Bartiromo, I believe it was, and I didn't listen to the whole thing yet, but he says he has a group of very wealthy people ready to buy TikTok whose identities he can reveal in about 2 weeks. He added the deal will probably need Beijing's approval to move forward, but said, I think President Xi will probably do it. The president made the off-the-cuff remarks while discussing the possibility of another pause of his reciprocal tariffs on Fox News. TikTok's fate in the U.S. has been in doubt since the approval of the law of a law in 2024 that sought to ban the platform unless its Chinese owner, ByteDance, divested from it. So if we have a group of wealthy individuals, he's floated Oracle before, by the way, but if Oracle's part of it, and part of that is their cloud, them hosting the cloud infrastructure or whatever for TikTok, it might make sense as to what they're saying here. A deal, a multi-cloud database revenue. It's going to add $30 billion and expected to go into effect later. You think it's Saudis? Think it's Saudis, Ash? I don't know. Maybe. It could be some sort of partnership. But it does say that Oracle announced a slew of AI deals in recent months. They're joining with Stargate Venture, OpenAI, SoftBank. They also partner with XAI. The company's also working on an iteration in the UAE and announced a new AI partnership with IBM. They're hitting like everybody. They got everybody in there. It's crazy. $30 billion a year. Yes. You're right, Ash. $30 billion in annual revenue. That has to be TikTok. But who knows? We got this story. Canada rescinds digital services tax after Trump cuts off U.S. trade talks. And maybe I should probably have started with the Trump cutting off trade talks because that happened this weekend. We have just been informed that Canada, a very difficult country to trade with, which that doesn't even make sense because we don't take much from them. We really don't. Like they need us more than we need them, for sure. But anyway, including the fact that they have charged our farmers as much as 400% tariffs for years on dairy products, has just announced that they are putting a digital services tax on our American technology companies, which is a direct and blatant attack on our country. They are obviously copying the European Union, which has done all the same thing and is currently under discussion with us. Also, based on this egregious tax, we are hereby terminating all discussions on trade with Canada, effective immediately. We will let Canada know the tariff that they will be paying to do business with the United States of America within the next 7-day period. Thank you for your attention in this matter. He means business because he thanked us for our attention. He did also say, I think, was it in the interview or on True Social? I don't remember. But like, if we don't have a deal with you by July 9th, then we are going to send you a letter telling you what your tariffs are. And that's the end of it. I thought that was hilarious. But then now they come and Canada rescinds digital services tax after Trump cuts off U.S. trade talks. Canada has walked back on its digital services tax in anticipation of a mutually beneficial comprehensive trade arrangement with the United States. Ottawa announced Sunday night, just one day before the first tax payments were due. The move comes after U.S. President Donald Trump announced over the weekend that they will be terminating all discussions on trade with Canada. All these countries are just pussies. All of them. But I mean, I'd bend the knee to Trump too. So if I was in their position, I wouldn't have done that in the first place. Okay, let's see what else I got here. I mean, there's a couple posts on True Social, but nothing crazy from Trump. Just talking about how bad the media is, talking about Democrat senators, talking about how good his administration is doing, the big beautiful bill. Nothing super duper interesting. Let me see if I have anything else. This might be close to the end here. And then we can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. Oh, this is funny. Check this out.
The Trump administration steps up ICE raids and mass deportations. One tech developer is pushing back with an app designed to track ICE activity in real time. It's called ICE Block, and it's controversial to say the least. Senator Claire Duffy is with us now. How does this work, Claire, and what are the legal implications?
Yeah, John, I talked with Joshua Aaron, who is the longtime tech worker who developed this platform, and he said he really wants it to be an early warning system for people about the location of immigrations and customs enforcement officers. So he says he does not want people interfering with those officers' activity, but he does want people to be able to avoid them altogether if they want. So you open the app, it looks like a map, and users can tap the map to report an ICE sighting in their area, and then everybody who uses the platform within 5 miles of that sighting will get a push alert. This is a free iPhone app. It is anonymous. Aaron says he doesn't collect any user data. And what I think is really interesting about this in this moment is we've seen so many of the biggest leaders in tech supporting President Trump, but Aaron is sort of an example of the fact that there are people within the tech industry who are really resistant to Trump's policies. I asked him what he would say to those tech leaders who, for example, were at the inauguration. Here's what he told me. Take a listen.
I understand that you have shareholders to report to. I understand that you have employees that need their paychecks. But at what point do you say enough is enough?
And John, I should say that ICE did not respond when I asked them about this platform and about Aaron's opposition to their activity.
There we go. That is ridiculous. We should do, like, what if we did an app that reported all Mexicans we think are illegal immigrants? Like, how would they feel about that? Probably wouldn't feel too great. But I did see online, like, the best way to combat this is for everybody to download it and just start reporting ICE everywhere, all over the place, just to flood it. It's one way to kind of take that down. So that's all I got for you guys. Keep it a little shorter today so I can send you over to Y-Chromes. I know they're live too. Let me check and see. I think I got a few rants that came through. Valseco 16 says Saturday DPH was one for the history books. Even though it wasn't live, it's possibly the best episode to date, and I've seen every one. Well, I am very appreciative of that because I did not feel like it was that good of an episode personally. It was short. I was going from my hotel room. We didn't have a ton of prep like I normally would. We'd been traveling. Went out to lunch, came back, and then like showered and got ready for the show. And we were like, we tried to figure out what we were going to talk about right before the show, which is normally not how we do things. So I appreciate you saying that. And I know there were some issues with the Rumble stream, and it was mainly my fault because I forgot to go live through Studio. So if you go and watch on Twitter or YouTube, the full episode is there. The first 15 minutes included. Tiny Boy, how's it going, man? It was great to see him and JC this weekend. Vita knocked the meetup out of the park. So many new faces that haven't made it to a GART yet. 45 days and counting for Deadwood. Yeah, get your tickets. Valseco 16 again. Bannon said the reason to raise the debt limit is if he does need it, he doesn't have to go back to Congress and have to fight to get it. I understand that. I still don't agree with it. If the plan is, which everybody's saying the plan is to, like, we're gonna, default and blow up the Fed metaphorically, whatever. Anyway, let's just do it now. Do it in August. Julie JN, I agree we can disagree, but I already read that one earlier. And it was a good comment. Eileen Mashad 17 saw something yesterday about China and Russia allowed Iran to be bombed, not blocking something. I did not see that. I'll check it out. Hit that thumbs up on the way out, guys. I got nothing else for you. I'll be back tomorrow though, 1 p.m. Eastern, and I'll be back tonight on the on Basis Conspiracies. So we'll see you then, 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Oh, one more rant came through. Thank you, Vita, for the Lakeland meetup. It was a lot of fun with amazing people. And thanks, John and friends, for attending. Shout out to the Brevard Badlanders posse. Can't wait for Coco GART. Coco's going to be a good one, too. All right, everybody. We'll see you tonight and then back again here at 1 p.m. Eastern tomorrow.
Let's get started. That's what she said.
Oh, that's real good.
Why they stopping me?